Hello guys, this is Super Koopa here, and I've just been dying to make a video about this, because I'm getting pumped for the new release of the Mario Kart 8 coming out in just about 2.5 months, and that's pretty soon, guys, and I mean, there's still 2.5 months of, well, at least 2 months of development and everything. I mean, they're probably almost done with this, but I'm still curious to see what's still left. So I'm not going to go into all details of like what's left and everything, but today I'm going to be talking about the battle courses. And I'm also going to be covering I'm going to be doing characters, my final roster, music, and some other stuff. I think even maybe kart combinations or retro cards, whatever. I'm going to be talking about those in other videos, so check those out when they're made and stuff. But right now I'm going to talk about battles. So first of all, I'm thinking that in Mario Kart 8 there's going to be a total of 7 battle courses for each. So the 7 Nitro battles and 7 Retro battles. The reason why I say number 7 is because that there's been 7 games prior to Mario Kart 8, so each of them has a possible battle course that they could enter, and this is such a big title that, I mean, with Mario Kart Wii they did 5, and you know, that's a lot, and they did one from every game, so I'm thinking that Mario Kart 8 could also do the same. It's only 2 extra battle courses. I mean, it's the more flat, it's the 2 flat ones that they shouldn't. I still don't think that they should leave them out yet. So here are my thoughts on the retro battles, the ones that are coming back from past systems. First off, we have SNES Battle Course 2. Originally from the SNES, this is pretty much a plain battle course, only this one is the only one with water in it. Now, you don't get to go into the water, I think. I've never actually played this track. But I think that since it does have water in it, it could definitely utilize something to do with the underwater feature. I think that they could make that work a little bit. So this is probably the best one off the N60 and S, whatever I was going to say. From the SNES system, I think that probably would be the best one. Alright, next up is N64. There's only one that hasn't been made yet, and it's N64 Double Deck. And surprisingly, this is not from Double Dash. I think, like, Double Deck, I think that would be, like, a name from Double Dash. But it's pretty much the same thing as, I'm trying to remember the one on the DS. It was Block something or other. I can't remember. It wasn't Block Plaza, that's the Wii. But it was the exact same track pretty much, only they kind of like redid it. So I think that they can make this one, only you could drive on the walls here. And I think that would be definitely, you'd definitely be able to do that. There's some bridges and stuff. Instead of the bridges that connect each, like little fort, there's like a colored area. There's 4 forts. And you can use the bridges there. Instead of that, you should be able to use gliders and glide to each one, so you won't even need the bridges. I mean, you could do bridges on the lower deck, but on the top deck, you can actually use the gliders and go over there. And if not the gliders, then you can make the very bottom, like the ground, you can make that underwater as well, if you really wanted to get creative with that. Next one is Game Boy Advanced Battle Course 4. This one also has underwater. This is a desert course, and it has underwater. I think this one would be really cool to do. And the last desert battle course we've seen was Swamp Desert from on the Wii, and I don't think there was really any more besides that. So I think this one was a really cool level, especially from the Game Boy. It almost tied in my book for, I think it was Battle Course 1, which was based on the Bowser's Castle theme, and I thought that was really cool, but you couldn't really use the underwater or the glider there, so I'm like, Yeah, no. We'll use this one since it has like the whole underwater thing from Mario Kart 8. Next one is from the GameCube. It's Luigi's Mansion. Now, the reason I picked Luigi's Mansion is not because I hated the idea of Tilt-A-Kart as one of the battle courses. Not at all, because I've never gotten to play the battle courses on the GameCube. I've only seen a few in action. I've never got to see Tilt-A-Kart yet. So I'm not against Tilt-A-Kart, but I don't exactly know how it could utilize any of the underwater or glider features. I mean, it could utilize the anti-gravity a little bit, but I actually think that Luigi's Mansion could utilize that better. Since we're getting the new mansion level, I believe it's going to be called Twisted Mansion. At least that's what it kind of says. But yeah, I think it's official now. Twisted Mansion, since we're getting that, I think that they could just use the textures from that. Since we're not really getting a Luigi's Mansion course because we already got that brought back on Mario Kart 7. So I think that this would be really cool to see this battle course come back. I think there was 2 or 3 levels to the mansion. I never got to see this, and I never got to see pictures of it because it was always too dark, and I could never see them on my computer. My computer doesn't have a lightning feature. Yeah, it's pretty old, but at least it records. But so yeah, I think that Luigi's Mansion, you could when you're taking the corners, there's like little corners that you can come in and out of the mansion from, kind of like when you take a corner in Coconut Mall, how they're kind of like slanted like that. I think they were similar to that. Again, I never played the level. So I think that they could use the anti-gravity there, and then they could just, have the boost scattered around. I think that would be really interesting if they brought that one back. And again, I'm not against Tilt-A-Kart. I just don't think it will work in this mindset right now. Next one is DS Tart Top, and this is one I think that they wanted to bring back in Mario Kart 7, but they brought back Palm Shore instead, which made sense because of the underwater. I think that this would be perfect because you could use the anti-gravity feature along the edges. It has those like cherry bumper things, like if you hit like the little cherry topper thing, you got flipped off and bumped off, kind of like if you hit a bumper from Waluigi Pinball. But the main thing is the big tart in the middle. This could definitely be used for a glider, and I think that it was stupid that they didn't bring it back in Mario Kart 7, but they brought the gliders back, so this is definitely a possibility. I really hope they don't bring back another course like, say, Pipe Plaza or something like that. I think this one is the best one, and they obviously aren't going to bring back the Nintendo DS. So, yeah, that would be pretty dumb. I can see them doing something really stupid like that, though, because, I mean, Nintendo's been making some interesting moves lately. But, yeah, Tart Top, definitely my candidate for that one. Now, for the Wii track, or for the Wii Battle Course, I was kind of at a crossroads between 3 different ones. The reason I picked this one, I picked Delfino Pier. And the reason I picked that is because you're on a rooftop, and that can definitely utilize the anti-gravity features, at least when you're slanted on the roof and stuff. And underneath the main, it's the second building, it's the one that opens up kind of like when the bridge comes down after like a minute, I think it was. But after you go under there, the bridge opened up and you can go under freely and go under there. I think that could be also anti-gravity. You can go on the walls there. Now, the reason I picked this is because of the underwater. I think that they could really make this special. And they could really make this battle course special with underwater boundaries. The boundaries could, like when you pass a certain line, kind of like how the boundaries extended in Peach Beach on the Wii, how they kind of like extended when you were like in the water and you'd be respawned. I think that they could do this in the same sense here. So I think that this is my candidate, and also the main other reason is that they could also use gliders here. because one, they had those jumps that went over the chimneys. I think that you could definitely use the glider there as well. Now, people wanted Funky Stadium. I myself think that would be a good bet, but it doesn't have any underwater. It does have a lot of jumps that could utilize the glider, and granted that it also could have pretty good anti-gravity. But my only argument here is I think this was a really cool battle course, but I'm thinking that Funky Stadium could make a cool an actual track. So that's kind of like why I didn't include it there. And also other tracks, Block Plaza, same thing as Double Deck. Let's see what else. We have Swamp Desert, which really wouldn't have any underwater or gliders. Maybe some anti-gravity, but I mean, it really wouldn't do much. And Chain Chomp Wheel or Roulette, whatever you want to call it. That would be interesting if that was all underwater. And, I mean, they could use anti-gravity there as well. But I didn't like that course in the Wii at all, so... but, yeah, that's it for the Wii track. And then, last one is the obvious one, 3DS Woohoo Town. Now, all the other ones pretty much don't qualify. Honeybee House, or Hive. Yeah, that really doesn't seem like a big track that they could bring back. And then Sherbet Rank, just... It's not boring, but it just really couldn't use the underwater or the gliders or the anti-gravity at all. So Woohoo Town is definitely the candidate here. Especially since they could use the glider. They could actually add glider panels like in the area closest to the right where like the big archway is, and people use that to snipe people in Mario Kart 7, and I did that a lot. And you also did a lot of jumping on that course, so I definitely think that you could even use the anti-gravity feature on that battle course. Alright, moving on to the new ones that they could bring back. Now, this is just my opinion. I was just thinking through ones that they could make, but I think this one would be really, these would be really cool if they incorporated. So most every game has had a block level. We can all agree on that. So why should Mario Kart 8 be any different? I mean, Mario Kart 7 did not, but they only brought back 3 tracks for their own. So I mean, they could have, but I think it was best that they didn't. So I think Mario Kart 8 should have one, and it could be called Block Building. Now, I've heard other cool names like Block Town. We already have Woohoo Town, so I didn't include that. I've heard Blocks. I've heard even Brick, and I've done. I almost called it Brick Building, but that was too cliche. I think Block Building would be pretty cool, and this would be really cool because you could start out in a building that was made all by blocks, which obviously Block Building. But actually, this building, you could go 360 around the whole entire thing. You could drive on all the walls, on the ceiling. I think that would be really cool. So it's kind of like you're inside of a block. So you can go 360 around the whole thing. I think that would be a really cool track that you could battle on. Also, Comet Observatory from the Super Mario Galaxy series. We have not gotten really any bringbacks of this. We thought the only one was Rosalina's Ice World, and I was glad that they kind of referenced it there. But I think that Comet Observatory could be a really cool battle track. If not, then maybe Starship Mario from Super Mario Galaxy 2, or maybe in one of the other galaxies. I think this is the best candidate, and I actually wanted it back in the Mario Kart 7 days. So, yeah, I think that could be a cool one, and definitely because Rosalina's back, I think that they could really benefit from that. Sandy Spiral. Now, this is, I probably got the name also from a Super Mario Galaxy level. I think it was like Sandy Spiral Galaxy. I was trying to find battle names that would be really good for the new features, especially going upside down. I think Sandy Spiral would be really cool, how the sand would be kind of like flowing, and you can go like 360 around the whole thing, and it would just be a big spiral. as it was in Super Mario Galaxy, how you can go 360 around that as well. There could be some Pokies maybe, or just cactus, and that would be really cool, and so we wouldn't have to bring back Thwomp Desert. Next one is Shiny Shorelines. That's kind of a tongue twister there. But I think that this would be cool. I couldn't really think of a name for this. I think Shiny Shorelines is probably the best one in my opinion. But this would just kind of be how most of the beach battle tracks have been. Palm Shore, battle tracks like that. I think that it would just pretty much be like it would have a lot of underwater. This I was debating whether I think this would be really cool if this one was all underwater. So it would be kind of like you were underwater and kind of like that kind of mindset. If not, then I have another idea, and I actually included it in one of my tracks, but we'll talk about that in a minute. But Shiny Shorelines, it would also be a reference to Super Mario Sunshine, how you collected shine sprites. And then next one is Ice Peak Mountain. Now, I'm kind of ripping this off of a place in Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Winter Games for the DS. It was one of the adventure mode places. It's called Ice Peak Mountain. I like the name, so why not make it a battle? It would be in a battle course that would be similar to Cool Mountainside from Super Mario 64. There would be some bridges. You could drive on the side of the wall. There would be canyons that you could fall down. Lots of tricks, lots of snow, lots of ice, and maybe I think it would be cool if you can use a glider to get back to one side. As like in Cool Mountainside for Super Mario 64, there was a ski lift and there was a broken bridge. And I think it would be really cool if you, instead of the broken bridge, you could use the gliders to get to one side or the other. So I think that would be really interesting. Especially good snow battle course. Next one is Dank Dungeon. Now I was just gonna call it Dank Dungeon, and I'm like, wait a second. A lot of Mario Kart tracks have the name repeated. Cheap Beach, Sweet Canyon in Mario Kart 8, Dry Ruins. So it's kind of Moo Moo Meadows as well. But I thought this would be a really cool course. It would be a Bowser-themed course. It would have lava as well as underwater chambers, kind of like the new Twisted Mansion does. But I think it would be really cool to be in kind of like Bowser's Secret Dungeon and you're battling down there. I think that would be really cool. You could have those bone fins, those from, I'm trying to remember, from Twisted Mansion, as well as Wario's, Wario Shipyard from Mario Kart 7. They could have some of those, and maybe some of those, I really don't know what they could have, but I think Dank Dungeon would be a cool name for that, and maybe the water could rise up as it did in kind of like one of those, in the old dungeons, when the water level came up, like the person, died, but here you wouldn't have to. It's Mario Kart, so everything's fair then. Alright, and the last one, I was trying to figure out one that would go really good in the sky, and I found this one. It would probably be similar to how the new Cloud Top Cruise level, where we saw Rosalina's debut in the one of the newer Mario Kart 8 reveal videos. But I think that this would be really cool, because not only do you get to fight on two different airships, you'll be able to use the glider to get from one airship to the other. You could use the Koopa Clown car. They were kind of like puffs of air that would get you higher. It was featured in the battle track Big Donut from the N64, brought back in Mario Kart 7, as well as some other Mario Kart 7 tracks. And I think that would be really cool to get like between them both. And there would also be bullet bills from kind of like they were in Airship Fortress. I think that would be really cool. They could have some Monty Moles. This kind of reminds me of one of the mission modes from Mario Kart DS, how you had to like knock out all the Monty or Rocky wrenches, excuse me. They're pretty much the same, but you had to knock like 10 of those out with the star. It was on Airship Fortress, and I thought that was really cool. It would take place in a Super Mario Galaxy airship sort of thing, Bowser Jr.'s. You could go on different levels of the airship. I don't think you'd be able to go inside. It would just be featured on top of the two airships, and you could fly between them both. And yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about Nitro and Retro battles. So I want you guys to tell me your opinion on what battles you would think would be cool to see for them to be new ones or retro ones that they would bring back. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned for more videos coming up to see what my character list is, as well as my final roster for Mario Kart tracks, and even some more. So thank you guys for watching this, and we'll see you all later. Bye guys.